The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business. From $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm Tim Calloway. We have a very special guest for you today. For anybody who knows me long enough, knows where I came from Tucson, Arizona. We actually have Mr. Russell Long from Long Realty. And if you've been to Tucson, you know they are a mainstay in the real estate area there. How are you, Russell?
I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, glad to have you on. It's very exciting for me.
You're most welcome.
Yeah. So let's just go ahead and start at the beginning. The Long name has been around for quite some time, at least from my knowledge in the Tucson area. You know, were you a young man at age 8 or 9 years old and you asked your parents, hey, how do I become a realtor? Or did you just fall into it, or was it in the family line?
Well, my grandfather and grandmother came to Tucson in 1920, and my grandfather went to work for the Southern Arizona Bank. They had a real estate division. And so he became a salesman for the Southern Arizona Bank. Long story short, he started his own company, our company, Long Realty Company, in 1926.
Wow.
And he owned the company until 1952. Sold the company to my mom and dad for $1 in 1952, and my parents owned it until 1980.
Wow.
And in 1980, my brothers and I and our general manager purchased it from my parents. We paid a lot more than $1 for it. We all went out and put second mortgages on our home.
Wow.
And my wife and I were owners of the company until 1994. Okay. And I always I started off as a salesperson. I'd been a high school teacher, English and speech teacher, and I was the speech and debate coach. But my wife was a teacher also, and we wanted to start a family, and we couldn't make it on one teacher's salary. So we agreed that she would teach one more year while I got started in sales in 1977. So I loved selling, but in 1980, as I said, we bought my parents out, so went into management and ownership, and I was a designated broker for 8 years. 94 wanted to get back in sales, and so we have been selling ever since. I don't have any retirement plans. I would like to keep selling real estate as long as I'm healthy. Belong to a men's group and a bunch of older guys. And one of them said, a retired IBM executive said, within 2 months of retiring, you're trying to figure out how to remain relevant.
Right.
And that just really rang a bell with me. I'm relevant to my company. I'm relevant to my family, my clients, and I like being relevant. So I'm going to do this as long as I can.
Well, you're definitely relevant to the community. I can tell you that just from the 10 years I spent there. You guys do a lot in the community. I think that's fantastic. So great story. I feel bad for your kids who don't get to buy the business for $3, but you know, with inflation and everything. So let's talk about Tucson a little bit. Anybody who's listened to my show over the past years knows I talk a lot about Tucson. And it's really great to talk to someone who not only is from Tucson. I could find plenty of realtors in Tucson to talk to. I know a handful of them, but I when I say icons of real estate, I think your family and the name there in Tucson's very iconic. Tell me about Tucson over the years. And that might be something for a 2-hour podcast, but in your best encapsulated version, you know, tell me about Tucson over the past 20, 30 years.
I like to say that Tucson is a large version of Santa Fe. Mm-hmm. We have a similar history. The Spanish came through here in the 1500s. We have a mission that was founded in the early 1700s. And so there are a lot of historic buildings here. people are interested in historic preservation. Tucson it's a university town.
For sure.
We're a big little town. We don't have any professional sports here, so people are very interested in the football team and the basketball team. And a lot of people who like the out of doors live in Tucson. We're a biking capital of the world, a hiking capital. Tucson is a very popular place to live. We're not as expensive as Scottsdale. We're not as expensive as Santa Fe. We're not as expensive as the West Coast. So a lot of people are coming to Tucson as a result. We do a lot of demographics and find that of our expensive homes that sell, a majority of them come from California, from Oregon, from Washington State, and from Illinois. And for years, we talked about snowbirds, but in the last few years, we started talking about rainbirds. Yeah. People coming from the wet country of Oregon and Seattle, and we see a lot of people from those states.
Yeah. One of the things that I wanted to discuss with you, being, I think you're one of the premier people in real estate in the city. When I was there, I worked with the city, mainly because of where I lived over in the technology area, is that trying to keep middle income college graduates who graduate, keep them in the city of Tucson and not lose them to cities like Phoenix or maybe even San Diego, Los Angeles. Do you find that still kind of an issue with, I mean, I have two sons that graduated there and they both, unfortunately, they did leave Tucson. Do you still find that happens quite a bit in the market? I just found Tucson to be a have and have not sometimes a little bit, the River Road area versus, say, Drexel, or something like that. Do you find that there's not enough moderate housing in Tucson for new graduates?
Well, I think a lot of cities are having that same problem with increase in housing prices. It drives a lot of people out of the market. And as far as jobs go, yes, I would say that's still the case. Our city and our county have been working hard to bring more jobs here. Phoenix, Scottsdale does a really good job with that. Tucson is trying hard to find employment for young people so that they don't have to leave. But yes, I would say it's harder to find a job here than it is up north in Phoenix and Scottsdale. I would say we have more of an older population here because of all of the people wanting to buy second homes. True. So that's kind of our draw. It's not so much employment as it is lifestyle. Tucson's a lifestyle community.
Yeah, Tucson is definitely a lifestyle community. Between the hiking and just the visual aspect, something that's not mentioned too much, Russell, is the southernmost ski resort in the United States.
Well, Mount Lemmon, that's right. I learned to ski up there. It's about a 5-minute swoosh down the hill. That's about it. But it is.
It's better than what we get in West Palm Beach. I'll put it.
I remember when I was at the university, one day in April, I was at the University of Arizona swimming pool swimming because it was a nice warm day, and my brother was up on the mountain skiing. So we have that kind of diverse topography here.
Yeah, for sure. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. And you also have had quite a bit of revitalization. Now, I've been gone 5 years, so forgive me if there's even been more. But downtown, when I first moved there, I wasn't much for going downtown anyway and hanging out. But once I met people, obviously, and got out and about, there was quite a bit of you've won a couple of awards in Tucson for restaurants and things of that nature. And I will say this. I've lived in a lot of southern cities. There is no better Mexican food, burros, not burritos, but burros, than in Tucson. So you guys have really come along as far as I think you've won a couple of gastro awards for eateries.
We are a UNESCO gastronomy city in the world because of all of our restaurants. And Timothy, I'm glad you brought that up, because I could go to a nice restaurant in Tucson probably 45 days in a row and do a different one every night and not have to duplicate. There are so many great choices. And I've been told that by people from, I mean, we're not New York. We don't have that kind of restaurants, but for a population of 1.1 million, 1.2 million, we've really got great restaurants.
Yeah, you really do. I actually live, and I'm sure you've been here to West Palm Beach, or at least in the area. There's no shortage of restaurants, but I'll tell you this. I don't have a favorite one here. I've been here 5 years. I don't have a favorite. And if I did, I hate to say it, it'd be a chain. And when in Tucson, I was more apt to be at a mom and pop or a privately owned restaurant. So, and there's plenty of them, but yeah, that's fantastic and good for you guys. So what are the main areas? I mentioned the River Road area. I've had a few Tucsonians, realtors on the show before. I know when I was leaving, there was a ton of growth going out up towards Oro Valley and of course out to Marana and places like that. Where I lived in Vail seemed to kind of hit a brick wall in the mid 2000s, and expansion was good. But are there any areas now that if I move back or I wanted to buy property, a second place, that are really the top tier that I would look at?
Growth in Tucson is where there's available land. So I would say if you came back to Tucson and you drove out to Vail, if you went out Valencia Road, you'd be rather astounded at the development that's happening. So the development in Tucson is to the southeast, to the southwest, and to the northwest. That's where the growth is, and depending on your price bracket, you can find nice houses in all of those locations. I mean, obviously some locations are more expensive than others, but
Sure.
But nice homes are being built in all of those locations by production builders, Richmond, American, U.S. Homes, and some local builders, A.F. Sterling.
Nice. Well, tell me a little bit for those who don't know more about Long Realty. I mean, we have the history of it. Where are your numbers at wise as far as total realtors and business overall for Long Realty? Are you the number one realtor overall in Tucson?
I don't have all of 2022, but through the first 6 months, our company was doing 23% of the business, and our closest competitor was doing 11.5%.
Wow.
And then when you get into more expensive homes, 800,000 and up, we were doing 39.6%, and our closest competitor is doing 10.6%.
Wow, good for you.
So we're doing almost 40% of the luxury business in town.
Wow. So what do you think is the attributable factor to that, Russell? What is it about your name and or your people that attract that kind of buyer or listing home?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think number one, we've been here since 1926. And so agents know our name. We have very good management, very good ownership, honest, try to do right by people. I think that's part of it. Part of it is that we have very good commission splits. So I would say our top agents are making 95, 90%, 96% of the commission, something along that line. So they like the commission split. And then the technology that the company provides, the advertising that the company provides is, I don't think there's anybody who comes close to it. We are the luxury portfolio broker in Tucson. So for luxury real estate, that's kind of one of the dominant entities in the world is luxury portfolio. We are a Berkshire Hathaway company. We're now owned by Berkshire Hathaway. So we have that network. So I think there's a variety of reasons, but the principal reason is that I'm guessing of the top 50 real estate agents in Tucson, at least half of them work for Long Realty. So because of all the reasons I just described. I'm not bragging, just stating fact.
Never bragging if it's true, Russell.
Yep.
No, that's fantastic. Are there any plans? I didn't know about the Berkshire Hathaway affiliation at all. When did that, how long has that been in play, or how long ago?
I think we've been a Berkshire Hathaway company since about 2003, 2004, something like that.
I was there then, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So are there any plans for Long, expansion wise?
I'm not in on the planning, but I do know that Berkshire Hathaway is a good company to work for. And from what I hear from management, they're kind of left alone as long as they're profitable. And so the company has been expanding significantly, and we are all over the state now.
Yeah.
We have a presence in Phoenix. We have presence in Flagstaff, Sedona, Prescott. So we are all over the state, and I know there has been talk of expanding out of the state.
Oh, wow.
As I said, talk. I don't know what the plans are.
You don't know anything.
I don't know what the plans are, but we are all over the state already.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, as we kind of close out, what is the best way? I mean, if I'm looking to either buy or list my home, who should I be contacting? Do I just go to the website, or is there, do we contact you, Russell, or is there a main office or number?
Well, sure, you can contact me if you want to do that. You have my phone number, and I can help people. I learned a long time ago I do all price ranges. So I've done some $250,000 sales this past year. I've done sales in excess of 3 million. I have one in escrow right now at 4.5. So that's pricey for Tucson.
Yeah.
But we do all price ranges. I learned a long time ago that you don't want to turn down your bread and butter properties.
Right.
Expensive ones take longer and cost more to advertise. So you do them all.
You do them all. You never know what happens. I mean, I could speak for myself, and I've bought homes in every, bracket you could imagine. So you just never know. And we all should be good to each other anyway. So
that's right.
That's the main thing.
We are realtors, and we should serve the wealthiest of us, and we should serve the least of us.
There you go. I love it. Well, I do want to ask you if here in the last couple of minutes, we have a couple of minutes left, and Russell, you'll know what I'm talking about here. Not all my guests know what I'm talking about, but I always say I'm the DJ and you're the hit record, and I'm just here spinning records. But, take us out the last couple of minutes here and give us maybe whatever's on your mind, your heart, your soul, that you'd like to share with the listening audience about Tucson or about Long or
okay. I'll tell you, I'll try to make it fast, but I wrote some notes here.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how I work. Number one is the golden rule. Follow the golden rule. I want to treat people the way I want to be treated. That's part of the Realtor's Code of Ethics. And that's the most important thing, bar none. Number two, I coined this phrase: a big head is a larger target for a 2x4. I don't know how some real estate agents get these big heads and think they're God's gift to the world. What one minute you're getting highly praised by somebody for doing a great job, and the next minute you get a phone call that they're totally disappointed in you, that you're not getting the house sold for them. So I don't know. Humility is incredibly important. I don't think about money. I think about doing a good job for my clients. I think about getting the work done. And if I do a good job, if I put the pieces of the puzzle together, this is a complicated game. And if I put the pieces of the puzzle together and people are happy, then I'm going to get paid. But I don't think about that for a second. I have hardly any boundaries between my personal life and my private life. They just sort of flow into each other, in and out. I wake up in the morning. I'm usually doing emails by 6:30. I do emails until about 8 o'clock, catch up on anything that came in the night before, get in the shower, come to the office. I'll work at home for maybe an hour or two at night. After 9 o'clock, I turn my phone off and go to sleep. I get a good night's sleep every night, and I exercise. For people to do business with you, they have to know you, like you, and think that you can do the job for them. When I go talk to somebody about listing their house, I really focus on getting them to know me and like me and find something in common with them.
Right.
When I go in, I don't just start trying to sell them on me. I have them show me the house. I look at their pictures. I look at their plaques on the wall and try to find something that we have in common. And hopefully as a result, they start to like me.
Yeah.
And then I sit down with them and show them what our company does. I tell them that I'm the Energizer Bunny. I just keep going. I just keep advertising. I just keep plugging away until I get the house sold. When I do a listing presentation, as I said, I have them walk me around. And I had a great experience this past year. This guy is a scientist, and we weren't quite connecting. But then we walked into his garage. He's showing me the garage, and he's got a sign up on the garage that says plate tectonics. And I said, why do you have a sign that says plate tectonics? And he said, well, I'm a geologist, and I volunteer in public school, and I teach plate tectonics. And I said, I did my college science in geology. I know all about plate tectonics. I started naming professors I had at the university, and suddenly we're buds.
Right.
That got me in. We
finding some common ground, right?
Yeah, we made that connection. Okay. So how do we get business? We work our sphere of influence significantly. We have probably 2 things that go out every month, email to our sphere of influence. When we take a listing, we send out just listed cards. When we make a sale, we send out just sold cards. We send out probably 2,000, 2,500 calendars, really nice calendars every year to our sphere of influence. We advertise in 4-print media. Now, there are a lot of agents who don't advertise. And they say that they do their advertising on the internet, but that high-end advertising that we do in the newspaper and in 3 magazines probably accounts for maybe 50% of our business. People see our ads and they say, I want my house to be advertised like that.
Right.
And so they get to know me. Technology, I use my cell phone, of course. I have a computer with me at all times that has internet in it. So if I'm at a home inspection, I'm not wasting time. I hate wasting time.
Yeah.
I can sit there during the home inspection, catch up on emails. I answer my phone, and agents have complimented me, Russell, every time we call you, you answer your phone. And I say, well, not every time, because sometimes I'm on the other line. But
you gotta sleep sometime, Russell.
It's important to answer the phone and to stay in touch with people. So I think probably the last thing is it's taken me a long time to really understand this, but I have fun with people. And when I do a listing presentation or when I'm with a buyer, I try to act like I would if I was going out to dinner with friends. I want to have fun. I want to tell jokes. I want to be human. I want to say stupid stuff and let them laugh. I want to laugh at their jokes. So real estate for me it's fascinating. It's a very intricate game. It's a great educational process. And I meet wonderful people, some of whom have become lifelong friends. That's about it, Timothy.
Russell, that was fantastic, very detailed, and I enjoyed hearing it. As I said, I talked to you on the phone last week asking we could move this around a little bit, which I appreciate, by the way. But I was really looking forward to and excited about having you on the show, because seen the family name for so long. And I do know a lot of Long Realty agents that I've just talked to and passed by over the past decade and a half, I guess 15 years. And if you're ever out in Tucson, definitely, you could take it from me. I've done over 300 podcasts over the past couple of years. And I'll tell you this, good quality group of people at Long Realty. So, and I definitely would give Tucson the opportunity. You know, Russell, we both kind of agreed Tucson can be kind of a sleepy town at times, but there's plenty to do. It's active, if you ask me. You know, you get inside Tucson and start looking around a little bit. There's plenty to do.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah. Russell, have a great week. Thank you so much for being on the
You
program.
too, Timothy, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year as well. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.